Well, welcome back. Um, Fortunately, my boy Bandit came back. Kind of put a smile on my face at a time when I needed it. So let me give him a bit of food. And, well, not a big enough channel to worry about that. Feels kind of weird. I'm going to make a video like this. Come here, Rocket. Come here, Rocket. So for anyone who knows, it's strange too because I've always been one of those people who obviously at my not quite 50, no longer 45, right in between, never really saw the internet developing the way it was, or for myself, I mean, I used to play on bulletin boards way when ago, but never really felt the need to divulge a lot about personal life. Now, granted, you had websites like chatting.com to go way back to the internet days. And things like MySpace and Facebook and all the different other platforms that are out there where people really do share a lot of their personal lives. And my entire channel is primarily based, almost absolutely based on going out and finding physical media because of the well over 20 years, just shy of 30, of selling on eBay. Now, not like full time. My current account is not all the way back to 96, 97. Matter of fact, there's auction web then. And selling that stuff on eBay in the current year of 2025. How many more years I can do this. And I prefer to do this over things that I did very, very well previous to this. And regardless of what I did, I was always did well. Well enough to where multiple jobs I got manager within a very quick time. I guess I can connect to on when I started on eBay. I can connect that back to September of 1996. '79 Ford Thunderbird, 351 modified. Found a tree, hit it 60 miles an hour, no seatbelt. I was the driver. Somebody's gonna be like, "Did you survive?" Yes, I did. I survived that. And after I went to court for the failure to control and whatever other tickets there were that were involved in that. That was right when Ohio was implementing that you had to have automobile insurance. And the judge was like, well, instead of hitting, and back then it was like $50, right? You had to reinstate. Now, if you drive without insurance, it's like $1,000 to reinstate your license, let alone the $1,000 in court fines and costs. Hey, just the judge was like, hey, just pay restitution back to the city for the tree that I scratched. All right, how much? I think the total after everything, after that entire accident, after paying the salvage for the tow and the court fines and everything else, it was like $3,000 then, fall 96. . Maybe it was beginning of 97. But at that time, my dad told me about this one thing on the interwebs, the World Wide Web of what it was more affectionately called then. And knowing that I had those costs and knowing that I was a partial audiophile, mainly because he was also an audiophile, old KLH and Harman Kardon and Kenwood and JVC and a lot of the old wood cabinet stuff. I was an audiophile by proxy through him, if you will. But he said, hey, you could just put an ad on this auction web place and describe what you got. Somebody will send you a money order. And when you get the money order, cash it and then send the item out. That was eBay in its infancy. And no pictures needed, no AI descriptions, no mandatory camera or pictures. I mean, you got to think, if you had a digital camera then, you probably wouldn't be using eBay to be selling stuff to make money. You had the $5,000 to buy a digital camera. But it's where this is all going into. Is as a result of finding that tree, it just jumped out in front of me. I swear. It's never been there until it was there. Amongst the myriad of other injuries, head injury, broke my nose, broke my jaw, both hinges, snapped it right here, laceration from a seatbelt right across my jaw, smashed my front teeth straight up into my face to where broke another tooth like back here somewhere just by the total effects of the moving around, broke collarbone, shattered my kneecap. Yeah, 1 second. So if there's any PSA in this, it's going to be multiple. Drive safe, right? I mean, cars are definitely safer than they were that were made in the late 70s, let alone in the late 90s, let alone now, and that'll continue to be better and better and better. Yeah, so when my teeth found the steering wheel on, they should call it a stealing wheel because those things are solid steel with nothing but hard plastic protecting anything else. When my face hit the steering wheel, it was the first impact, hit my face right here, probably like on the middle part or something. I don't remember now. And maybe because I lost consciousness shortly after that. And then my front teeth, came back and hit the steering wheel again, crammed my front teeth right up in my face. That wasn't too much of a problem because when my jaw was wired shut, it pulled some of my teeth back down. But from that point on, unchecked, not really properly maintained and done dental care led to problems. The free world of land of the free and the opportunity, yeah, there's great things, but fucking everything costs a bunch of money. Insurance, I mean, when you're back in the early 2000s, what have you, you're just kind of meandering around doing whatever, work under the table, and you're not paying for insurance. You're not paying for dental stuff. If you're not one of those already absolutely structured. I did a few things. I had a few extractions done and stuff, but I had a few cavities filled. But I just never really stayed on it. This entire story is going somewhere, I promise. Maybe 12 years ago, here's a screenshot. I was at my niece's, or my cousin, it'd be my mom's sister's daughter. So my cousin's wedding, actually up here, up in this general vicinity. And I was with Bad Luck Brian. I could see that my teeth were a little yellow then, but I still had all of them, but maybe one extraction. A little more than 5 years ago, it's right before we moved up here, I went to a dentist, and this had been, well, COVID happened when I was still down, living down there, and then the tail end of it when we moved up here. So it was while we were still down in Merriman Valley. At some point, I went to a dentist and I was like, hey, I'm going to come across some extra. So it was post COVID. Well, the money time frame when people are getting chunks of money and unemployment. I'm going to be coming across a chunk of money, like an estimate on what it would be to kind of reinvigorate my teeth, repair what you can, so on and so forth. And I got an estimate anywhere from $8,000 to almost $20,000. And that was for fillings, root canals, crowns, caps, cleanings, whatever needed to be done. And some was a multi-phase treatment. Yeah, well, I wasn't getting that from unemployment and stimulus and anything else. So it's like, you know what? I'll deal with the problems as they come one by one. Years go by. And it's like watching glacial movement. It's like watching pillars, I forget the exact name in geological sense, but looking at pillars of sandstone that you can see at one point, and then 10 years down the road, there's less of it. In all, yeah, if you can, take care of them. Take care of your teeth. If it's within your realm and your power to whatever, clean them, antiseptic, brush, whichever. Do something with them every day, like eBay. Do something with it every day, and you'll see the results. About 4 or 5 years ago, when I decided, I was like, yeah, I'm just going to start dealing with those one by one. A year and a half ago, I got an ad in the mail, and I was actually starting to think about dentures, and then I started talking to people who have dentures and looking like, no, you don't want them. Especially since the only medical insurance I have is the dental insurance and my death and incidental insurance through Geico or whoever it is. Death, incidental, dismemberment, accidental insurance. If I walk outside of here when it's snowy and I slip and break my ankle, I get a daily stipend from it. So, yeah, so when I worked for bigger companies, I would have medical insurance and use that to some degree, but not to the fullest. I think I'm probably going to have to get my eyes checked, but I'll probably pay $50 to get my eyes checked, make sure that they're working good enough. They're not as quite focused as they were. Again, almost 50. My eyesight was 2016 at one point. They're not going to go anything below 2016 because they realize that you can see something that's 20 feet away. You see that as if you're 16 feet away. I'm colorblind. It has nothing to do with teeth. Nor my, I can't call it prescription, my eyesight. It's probably 2020 now. Off topic. So I got an ad for a local dentist right up here. I started calling a couple of dentists. I was like, hey, looking for a 4-in-1 estimate. And they were anywhere from estimates of $35,000 to $60,000. That is dollars or doll hairs, however you want to say it, in American currency, U.S. currency, cash money after everything that insurance pays for. Is $40,000 to $45,000 for implants. These are the temporaries. This is the third temporary for the upper. So if you watch some of my early videos, you'll kind of see that my lip is pushed out quite a bit. And if you look at a lot of my other videos, you might be able to see if I'm showing anything. And I was never really too apprehensive about it. It's like, it's either you're going to like me for who I am, or you're not going to like me because I'm missing teeth. That's on you. And, but if you notice in some of the other ones, you can see a lot of like black in areas. That was just missing teeth or completely rotted teeth. So I stopped really taking care of them a couple years ago. because I knew that they were just going to come out. The combined total, I don't have a penny down to the penny or down to the 10. I can give you probably something down in the nearest thousand, and it's 45,000 cash. My insurance not included. You know, when I'm paying for the insurance every single month, not included. All this other stuff, not included. Just this is how much more I have to individually pay the dentist. Each one, upper and lower, is not 4, but 6 titanium implants. And at a going rate of a regular going rate of $3,000 to $5,000 per one, because they put 4 in to hold the entire bridge. At a certain point, you're going to need a little more, at least 2 more, and that's looking at bone density and the strength of the bone. After a certain age, that's not really going to be, that's going to be more applicable, because after a certain age, your bones become less dense, and they're not able to put implants in, even if it's 6 at most is what they could put in, because if you have weak bones and they start putting in too close, they split the bone, which is not what you want, because these implants are only like yay wide. I don't really have anything on the quick right here. Maybe about as wide as a leaf stem. They're probably not even that wide. Where's my time? Really not too bad on this one. I thought it was going to be a lot longer of a video. So if you watched any of my videos from way when ago, back in December and January, you may remember something in the description box that read something along the lines I just had implants done. I may sound weird when I talk or something like that. Eventually I took that out because no one ever made any mention. No one ever made any comment like, dude, you're missing teeth. Dude, your teeth are, what's wrong with your lip? Or no one made any comments like that. I was like, well, if nobody's ever going to really address it, then I just won't leave that in there. So I took that out. A couple PSAs. So one, drive safe. You know, be safe. And that's why kind of one of those things, if you pay attention to some of my videos, it's not why because of that, but it's not because of the accident or why I say it's raining outside. Right? Why would I go outside and go start driving in that? That's increasing. I mean, driving's already dangerous as it is. You never know. You could be driving down the road and a trailer tire for a semi could blow out and come straight through your windows and decapitate you. Don't know. Every single time you go out there, everything is a 30 to 100 mile an hour bullet. That's just really big. A lot of people don't pay attention. Oops, almost hit you. So drive safe. Drive safely. Don't drive it in the type of situations that are going to increase your odds of causing a problem or being part of the problem, or being in the mix of being part of the problem of people driving in the heavy snow, not saying what they're doing or which have you. PSA number 2, and my mom used to say all the time when I was a kid, you have and you probably saw from that screenshot, like my teeth were straight as a truly trued arrow. And I just said, F you enamel, F you bone. I don't care. Sometime I could just get different ones. It's painful. That hurts. Now, I never really had any pain. I would get some infections every once in a while, but I never had any pain from the broken teeth or anything. Another PSA is if you're going to have a midlife crisis, and depending what you're going to do, if it's going to be something self-improvement, such as the reason for the bike, when it gets better, you can do that. Gets better outside. I didn't really ride much. No, that's because I have to work. Stuff, go out, find stuff, get pictures, post stuff, put it online. so I can pay for this. The other PSA is part of, it's a great segue from this. Is I had sold on eBay for a long time, since '96. My wife, I mean, go next year, it'll be 21 years. Go next July, it'll be 21 years. I was selling before we met. It wasn't much, but I was selling before we met. Throughout all these years, and eventually it's like, you know what, I'm done. I gotta find some. I'm done with the walking around, done with the managing, done with these people. I'm really good at what I did. You're really good, but I just don't want to deal with that stuff anymore. Yeah, granted, there's a whole lot of other cans of worms you got to deal with when you're completely independent and work for yourself and have a registered business and the taxes and all that. You do it for freedom. I watched other channels and learned on what types of smaller items can be found that are easy to work with, right? Things that don't cost a lot of shipping materials to send out, don't cost a whole bunch to ship out, shipping costs. And then, like 4 years ago, I was really starting to pay attention. I'm not going to do any channel drops. If you've been here for a while, you know I've mentioned a few channels. And I really started getting into physical media. I was like, you know what? That stuff is everywhere. I'm not going to use the cliche again, but it's everywhere. It's cheap, right? And for the most part, it's easy to work with and it sells fast, like you. So that's what really bumped me. And then knowing that I can spend as little as 20 minutes in a store to upwards of 2 hours in a store. And if I'm there for 2 hours, I have a lot of stuff I'm going through. Just the next random little, and same thing could apply to all kinds of other things, especially clothing, because there's so much hidden behind the next item, behind the next item, behind the next thing. But with CDs and DVDs and tapes and all that, my sales from what it was and I have another video in the end December or somewhere in the end of December last year. That kind of showcased my sales growth from what it was from 2021 to 2022, and 22 to 23, then 23 to 24, and now 24 to 25. So 2021, I probably did, I don't know, 15,000 in sales. No, it just wasn't strictly media. And then that's when I started like, oh man, this media stuff, it's everywhere, it sells fast, blah, blah, blah. And it's a great category, and it's something that is you're curating memories. You know, you're getting this one thing that someone else can have. Either they're going to be a hardcore collector, or they're just going to be someone. And I'm not going to get into the story behind on what my kind of mental and emotional feeling when I put Stadium Arcadium in the car yesterday. And that was the 2-disc that my wife, she took all of the CDs and stuff that we had then, and she went in, she traded it in, she got Stadium and Arcadium. So that 2-disc set, you know, holds a lot. And there's a lot of really good songs on that one. Well, I was feeling all feels. Yeah. And I'm still listening to it, right? So you're bringing back, you're creating these memories for people. And it's so much easier. And I do get little side messages every once in a while. I'll be like, oh, great. I mean, I was looking for this. You had it at such a great price. It brings me back to 1992. I'm so glad that you know, other people were asking $5 more. I'm glad I got it quick. Things like that. That's always good. That makes you feel good. The bigger part of this part of the PSA is that my first swipe of a card to pay for the initial starts of this was August of last year. A couple months later, started YouTube. I didn't want to start the YouTube then because both my front teeth were snapped in half. So they were like front teeth, but just they look like bunny teeth, but black. Both of them. I'm not going to have that on YouTube. You know how embarrassing that is? To some people, it may not be. To me, no, I don't want to present myself. I still did door-to-door stuff. I still canvassed for not long, but when my teeth missing, I'm like, oh no, that's why I'm working, so I can get the stuff done. I can either say 4 years, or I can say from basically summer of last year to now, I have managed to just me. My wife, she worked a little bit during all this time frame. A little, not a whole lot. She's not working now. She hasn't worked since like April or May or something. But by the absolute vast majority, I was able to not only, well, I bought the Fiesta. Well, no, then this is going to be a little bit past that. But I'm able to go out and pay. The only reason why the bottom part was done now is because I had to get caught up on all the other payments for everything up here, which is $23,000. So to say it shortly, in a year, I stashed away, or I was making payments of $23,000 extra expendable money. Now, it was expendable. It was not extra by any means. But that was enough for me to have that motivation, like these are going to get done, bonds are going to get done, it's going to cost a lot of money, but I will have and a growing better sense and quality of life. Even having my teeth as they were, even the bottom ones and all of that. In the start of the videos, again, no one really noticed, but it didn't really slow me down. But it was always one of those little creepers that's there. It's like, it's there. It's there. And it's slowing you down. You may not think about it, but it's slowing you down. Now I'm going to hurry up and start, now I can list 200 things a day, every single day from here until, 2077, the year the bombs fell. No. But it means that I'm going to feel better about myself. $45,000 in the hole. But it's a hole of something that I did to myself. I could have done a whole lot more, but I didn't. This is a reaction of grief, of self-loathing, of hate, of despise and resentment. But is also a reaction of joy. Now, granted, they're not done. I still have to get them finals yet, which still costs. I guess my shirt's true, huh? Some things are probably best not said. What the fuck it says. It's serendipitous isn't the right word for it. I don't want to keep going on this. But for those who are paying attention, if they were able to pick up and ascertain the little bits here and there, like, I don't know if that's what he's talking about when he's talking about medical procedures. So, yeah, that'd be it. And that's what it was. It was getting this bottom done. The extractions done. The temporary appliance is what it's called, getting that done. And then in a month, I go in and they take this out, and they take out the sutures, and they replace this back in there, and then everything's going to de-swell and heal, and then all the bite is going to be off, the alignment's going to be off, and then we're going to make another one. It's not a get your implants in a day type gig. That shit, I I mean, I could, yeah, it's biased because I only talked to one dentist about it. Like, no, that's really? How many times have you been here? It's like, oh, this is like my fifth time being here. Did you get them in a day? No. Then you're not going to get your implants in a day unless everybody already, wherever it is, already has a complete scan. And so you're going to these places in multiple days. If they say implants in a day and you're going to pay $40,000 for them, do you really want something that you can get in one day that you're going to spend 40 grand on? People, companies like that who bombard advertising. It's like, how often do you get bombarded by Walmart? Do you get bombarded by Target or any of these other retailers? Do you really get bombarded by them? It's like every other scroll on Facebook. It's get your implants in a day. It's like, dude, no, I don't need on Facebook for that. Same thing with all these other sell your book programs that are all over Facebook. Everyone and their mom has a sell a book program. I have my own sell a book program too. Listen to some of my videos and you can figure it out. So there's that one. I never thought that I would be one of these people to sit here and want to carry on about something that is in my life that has been affecting me for such a long time, especially for such a small ass YouTube channel as mine, 670 subs or 690 or whatever it is. But it is nice to have that. It is nice to have that weird symbiotic connection, I guess. Because I am one of those people like you who's watching. I like to sit down and watch and listen to not the big drastic things, but the little things that are happening to the people who I like to listen to. And I actually, at the dentist today, I was mentioning Mr. Ballin, Strange, Dark, and Mysterious. And I was telling them this story, like multiple times I told this story, about the story behind on where the latex gloves came from. And they didn't come from medical necessity. They came from love. You have to watch Mr. Ballin for that. This is going to be an edit list. There's going to be no edits in this. It's going to go up. So sales have been kind of slow. I'm going to do some sales numbers today and clean up a little. Stop tasting the red taste that's in my mouth. So I can do stop tasting that. All the other chemicals that they used. But I guess for the most part, if you have something you need to do, and for whatever reason, if you want to save for a vacation, if you want to save for a car, if you want to save for a medical procedure, and especially if you're in the United States where fucking everything costs, you can go anywhere, almost everywhere else in the entire planet. And this would have been low cost, if not free. Anywhere else. You can go almost anywhere else. Almost. I mean, I'm excluding places such as like Korea and Russia. A lot of these places where I'm not going to get into politics on that. But if you need to, I am a living proof. I am an epitome to the fact that if you go out 3-4 days a week and you go out and you go find, like I told myself all the time, I need to have at least 25 things in order for it to be a worthwhile day. Now, if I had less, I had less. If I had more, great. But going out 3-4 days a week, getting 20 to 30 things each day when you're out, coming home with anywhere from 700 to 1,000 plus listable. If you do that consistently, it pays off. What am I going to have to show for that? As one person commented on a video like a week ago, you don't look rich. Never posed that I was. And be surprised on the people who have the most money, besides the ones that are absolutely declaring it, and you know, those people who you don't think have a lot of money, they have $40,000 stashed under their bed. They may not have fancy cars. They might not have awesome clothes. They may not have the best top-notch jewelry. But most of those people who have that stuff are living on credit. I'm not going to get into that aspect. I'm not a live on credit. I am a cash person. And this eats up a lot. Eats up a lot. But if it makes me better, makes me feel better, and if my energy is different and my front, my face, we're going to go kind of a sociological, my face, not physical face, who I am, who I present myself to be. If I am able to be a little better because of myself, feel better about myself, because of spending 40 grand to replace my chompers, well, at least maybe I'll have a good more 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. I won't have to deal with infections anymore. So, yeah, that's going to wrap. Oh, yeah, speaking of antibiotics, man, yeah. That's going to wrap that one up. I'm not going to go with the rest of the things that I usually do. If you're here to learn about physical media and just what I picked up on throughout the past handful of years of selling for almost 30 years, and what I do in order to make that those few extra bucks, stick around, man. This is what I talk about. My gear will get better, my backgrounds will get better, and things like that. But as for now, and I wanted to hit 1,000 subscribers by my YouTube anniversary, which was December 6th, so we're 3 weeks away. I don't think that's going to happen, but that's still not going to stop me, because I appreciate every single one of you guys who come over, and I may on a given day lose 5, and I wake up to like, oh, I knew I lost 5 last night, and then there's 10 more that are back, or 10 more that are added. It's a roller coaster, but at least it's an easy ride right now, because I can answer all the questions, right? So, like the video if you want. Tell me thinking going up. Subscribe to the channel. Share this video. Share the whole channel. Share playlists. Write a comment below about anything. Don't care about what it is. I like engagement. If you like what's this channel has to offer, excluding this video, no, awesome. Stick around. I'm a little more honest and true than a lot of those other. I'm not naming any of them, but on a negative note, I'm a lot different than a lot of those other ones that are. If you were into skateboarding back in the '90s, and if you saw the no parking sign, the no P, right? We knew that meant for something different. I'm not one of those people. All right, so that is going to wrap that one up. Appreciate, like, share, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. It does help me out, and go from there. Appreciate it.